they don't really go out without consulting with many people on challenges that they know is legitimate, which is mine. They have to get the watered down, the political answers, and then come and give it to the public. Shane is being orchestrated to do the same thing through lawyers, through, I guess, managers, through promotional companies. But it doesn't mean nothing what I do to entice these guys to fight. They don't want to fight. They're afraid to fight. So why should I waste my time on spoiling my victories and spoiling my legacy that I'm building, which Joppy contribute 17 defenses to that Sugar Shane Mosley and that Oscar De La Hoya haven't achieved the greatness in status-wise. Money, yes, they achieved it, and maybe that's what the whole thing is about when it comes down to who's successful and who's not successful. But as a history, my record and my accomplishment beats Shane Mosley and De La Hoya, my opinion, hands down. And that's what counts in the long term of documentaries 20, 30 years from now, is what you accomplish, and did you accomplish your goals as you set in your career, younger and older.
Coming into last night, there had been much talk, and it's accurate talk, that Mosley and Mayorga had their March 13th fight all but done. Now that Mayorga got upset against Spinks, do you think Mosley's going to step up to the middleweight division and go for that shot at history?
Well, they'll find a way to not do that. I mean, the norm, and was good for boxing and was good for our bank account, it would be Shane Mosley hollering out, well, let me take on the old man Bernard Hopkins. Oscar, well, let me take on Bernard Hopkins. I mean, that's, to me, if I was in their shoes, I would want the baddest man that claims he's the baddest, and the fans claim that he's the baddest man in that weight category, 54, 60, all middleweights. But they will find some way to fight another Yuri Boy Campus. Maybe I could see Shane trying to fight a Toya Gaddy, or maybe trying to get Mickey Ward out of retirement. They the fights that they want. And let me tell you something, strangely enough, people are gonna, they're gonna try to sell that and shove down in people's throats, and some people will say, okay, well, he's good for one pass, you know what I mean? But, unless I'm being threatened by the sanctioning bodies that I have to do my mandatory when it's due, if there's no exception or an extension, I got to fight mandatories to continue to represent the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. I know how important it is to be the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, and I'd rather fight super fights in my weight category or above a notch or two, but I would not give anyone anything for nothing. I mean, it's just not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen because it would have happened 3 fights ago. It's not going to happen where I'm just going to give up something just to satisfy the people in boxing, per se, the business people in boxing who wants to separate these belts. I mean, a lot of people went to bed with a headache last night and woke up Sunday morning with the dilemma of, we have to deal with this, whatever they might have called me that night, another year at least. At least a quarter of the first year. We're going to have to deal with him in another 2004. One of the IBF representatives, Mary Muhammad, said, don't you know that Judah our longest champion since we've been in business? I said, no, I didn't. And I said, I'm proud to be the IBF champion. And not only the defenses, but the longest champion since we've been in existence. Whew. I haven't really, when you go on so fast and things are happening, good or bad, courtrooms and boxing rings and stuff like that, you lose track of time for real. Guy asked me yesterday, he said, Bernard, do you know your record at the commission? I knew I had 40 wins, but I mean, I got a no contest, I got a draw, but I don't know how many knockouts. I know I got probably 30-something knockouts, but I don't know the precise numbers of the knockouts. You just lose track, man. You lose track.
Based on the fact that Hopkins De La Hoya hasn't happened yet, there's rightfully skepticism on your part. Now, with that being said, is Winky Wright still the front runner for number 18?
Exactly. I mean, I was looking for Winky out in the audience, Greg, and the Boxingtalk.com camera wasn't out there, man. You must have had too many margaritas or something, man, because you went out there. This would have been a question live if we'd have, found Winky Wright, which I heard he was there, and I heard he asked about me, and I heard he did a great interview on one of these stations yesterday at the media. But yeah, and I'm glad Winky came out, and yeah, Winky, when you watch this tape, when Greg Leon call you and give you my quote, nothing has changed. But I must say that after Joppy, you're a brave man, and I got to give you respect to even call my name out. But we all professionals, and Roy Jones, Square Ring, and my promotion will get together very, very soon. There's no secret, and we will sit down and maybe hammer out a deal real fast with our lawyers and go right to HBO and pitch this fight to HBO, because I believe he would step up. I believe you would step up like I would step up to prove to them that you're not a born fighter. Styles make fights. You understand? I mean, I knocked Trinidad out, and I didn't knock Joppy out, but Joppy took the most punishment than Trinidad. So styles is a thing that makes fights, and your style and my style will make an exciting fight. But I ask the world to pay attention to Boxingtalk.com, the world of internet, the world of boxing information. Negotiation starts now. Negotiation starts here into the new year when you see Bernard Hopkins, the executioner, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, do the toughest decisions here on Boxingtalk.com.
On January 24th, 2004, parole is granted. That's the way it looks now, at least. You've been telling us that once that happens, you think you're going to be able to make the big fights because the middleman won't be there to get his cut. I mean, is that still the case? And after Winky Wright, will there be big super fights with Bernard Hopkins in 2004?
I think that let me tell you something. First of all, I am getting my promoter's license. I do want to be in the business other than just being a pugilist, other than just being self-managed. I want to be in the business as someone that understands the promotional business of boxing. I would drop my promotion or manager license. Can't be both. I stood up for one entity being both. Conflict of interest. So I would love to step my feet in the arena of the promotion, just to stick my feet in there to see how the water is. I heard how bad it is. I heard how tough it is to get fighters to show up with their cup and their headgear and their mouthpiece on time. Well, I want to witness this on my own standard. I want to witness the nicks and crannies of the business, all over, from overseas to now. It's nothing, I don't want to stay in one demand situation. I want to continue to learn about the sport, so when I leave, I can come right into it, not as a rookie or green. Far as having the opportunity to be in the boxing and not having to deal with 2 or 3 people or one who happen to have exclusive rights to promote me, I'm willing to do business with any promoter that makes sense, and that's business. Not only Don King, it could be Bob Arum, it could be a Duva, it could be a Gary Shaw, it could be a Frank Warren, it could be anyone that comes with some real good business decisions that's going to help both sides, then fine. I like money. I'm willing to make money, but I would not waste my time on nonsense. I would not waste my time on deception and subterfuge and all kinds of chaos that will cause all kinds of rumors that maybe help some newspapers or some internet that want to give out false information. So that's why I will negotiate, as I said earlier this year, through Boxingtalk.com. And let me tell you, Don King, out of any promoter in the world, as you've seen Saturday night, promoted 8 championship fights. And even though you thought that 8 of the champions, or at least 7 of the champions, had a clear slide victory win, nope, it didn't happen. So you have to give Don credit, even if you find somewhere not to give him credit. And I respect Don, and Don have came to respect me. I'm not saying I always thought that he did years ago, but he came to respect me. And he has his right, as he showed in the purse bid of me and Joppy, Bernard Hopkins and William Joppy, mandatory for the WBA, to make decisions on what he feels that's right. I have to do the same thing when it comes to Bernard Hopkins' commercial interests. Everybody has it. Everybody has their own. HBO has their own commercial interests for their company. Don King has his own promotional interests for his company. And Bernard Hopkins has his own commercial interests for my company. And I'm willing to hear and talk. I never wanted to be in a situation where somebody said, well, if he'd have just talked to me, if he'd have just listened what I had to say, well, I said it then and I say it now. I'm willing to hear anything, but not nonsense. Sometimes you got to learn how to cut off the nonsense and move on to something else. You don't want to stay there too long. And but January is coming quick. The biggest hurdle was nothing to interfere with December 13th, which was yesterday. And that's more important to me right now, dealing with this fight and coming out with a victory and looking. Bowie give me a B. I think I did a C- or something. But other than that, I'm ready and I'm looking forward to the next year. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next year. I'm looking forward to make the big fights happen, and they will. And they will.
A C-? I mean, what could you have done better?
Get him out of there earlier. I get him out of because my whole objective was to do what Trinidad did, knocked him out earlier than what Trinidad did. But sometimes guys don't want to cooperate, and you sort of can't get caught off guard trying to. Everybody you can't knock out, and Joppy takes a hell of a punch. He might not be the biggest puncher, but he takes a hell of a punch. I mean, I hit Eccles. I hit, a lot of guys with a lot of good shots. And I might have buzzed him 2 or 3 times if the fans out there watched the fight. And he did a great job of doing what a veteran do. He's a veteran, too. He grabbed me, he held me. The referee, was doing what he's supposed to do. I think he kind of got there a little too late, waited too long to pull him off. But Joppy know what to do to survive.
How did it feel to have Bowie back in the corner? Familiar voice?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was part of the inspiration and the new energy that came through to not come back and fail. It would have been a headline story. I wanted to show the world that a puzzle has been put right back in place, and now you're going to see the technician Bernard Hopkins getting back to executing what I've started off doing in 1988, which is over 12 years ago. So they seen a technician in it the other night. They seen execution the other night, and they seen a cold and calculated beatdown that was so pathetic, where people that have any any kind of heart or any kind of feelings will be sympathize to with Joppy's feelings as far as him not being in the fight at all. I mean, I don't think Joppy won 2 rounds out of 12, but he was trying, not running. I mean, mandatory, he was there trying to fight. Other than Murat Hakar, who we all seen ran, the world seen run actually around the ring. But I take my hat off to him, and it was a great card.
All right, Bernard, is there anything you'd like to say to the people out there in closing?
Well, first I'd like to say I hope everybody enjoyed the fight. December 13th, which was yesterday, this video done on a Sunday. But I hope that everybody enjoyed the fight. And email Greg Leon at boxingtalk.com to give your vote whether De La Hoya, Shane Mosley should get out of boxing or stop being scared to step up and make history with a guy that's claiming that he's the best from 54 to 160. And, Happy New Year. Everybody just chill, don't hurt each other, have fun, and look forward next year. See, next year is going to be a year that we shut all the critics up. But they got to put the guys in the ring for me to show y'all how great I am. Peace. Happy New Year.